Right, so you can see these two faucets look different, these two valves. You can see the white there, the stem, and it's not visible there. There's a reason for that. I'll show you what little problem we've discovered. That just doesn't work. We've been having this mystery leak for quite some time, and it never occurred to me that it was going to be inside the cabinet. Well, one day we opened up the cabinet and it was full of water, and the stuff inside the cabinet was soaked. And so long story short, that valve has failed. So our goal today is to go ahead and replace that valve. First things first, we're going to take off this cabinet door here. Take off these cabinet doors. You just got to back out both of these screws. Comes right off. Super easy to take off, and it's going to give me a whole lot more room. To start dealing with this, we have to go ahead and go turn the water off to the whole house. Typical of older houses, this house is 20, 25 years old, and older houses have basically one main line off of which come all the chutes. So we got to go ahead and turn everything off. So there's our water meter. To find out where the shutoff valve is, just follow the pipe where it comes into the ground. From the ground there, just turn that 90 degrees to the pipe, and that turns off the water to the whole house. All right, let's make sure we got the water turned off. All right. We wanted to see that completely turn off, or else we'd be in a world of hurt. So water's off, but we're going to try and loosen this right here and see what happens. Okay, so that one is getting loose at the bottom. Do the same thing at the top here. Righty tighty, lefty loosey, and you gotta, they're gonna be opposite because one's coming from the top, one's coming from the bottom. So the orientation is different. Okay. So I'm using the bottom wrench to hold the valve, and then the top wrench is doing the work in this case here. These are what's called compression fittings, and the tightening of the nut is what holds it tight to right here, and it has a little bevel on the end. That's just unique to this kind of fitting. Yep, there's some water leakage just because of the water in the pipe itself. That's why it's very important to make sure the water is completely turned off. Now this upper pipe is a 3/8 inch copper. Everyone's house is going to be different, but this one is 3/8 inch copper. So it's a little more flexible. There we go. Because it bends. So I just pulled it up and it bent a little at the top. So this part up here, I don't know if you can see it from the camera, this part up here has a bend in it. And as I pushed it up, it bent a little more so I could get it out of the top of this fitting. So when you're faced with the compression ring right there, that is, oh, this one's actually loose, which is so nice. When you're faced with a compression ring, you got to get it off. And so this one, you can even see I can spin it with my hands. So my first goal is to work it back and forth and bring it up the pipe here with channel locks. What we're going to do is try to just get these channel locks on the ring without squeezing real tight, and we just want to just work it back and forth while I pull up on it. As you can see, it's a little bit tedious. All right, so that is not working. I'm going to see if I can use the Dremel. And that's a little bit more, it's a little more difficult. All right, so I've got a metal cutting blade on here. I'm just going to just try to give it a split. See what happens. All right, I'm going to see if I can get a screwdriver in there and twist that open. If this video is helping in any way, if it's giving you any good ideas, please go ahead and hit the like button. We really appreciate it. And if you want to see more like this, go ahead and subscribe. Oh yeah, it did. There we go. There we go. All right, so there's some, it did make some scrapes on the pipe, but they're superficial, which is good. So we just I put the screwdriver in there to split it. All right, so I got this little tool here. That's a 1/2 inch size, and that's a 3/4 inch size. Two typical plumbing pipe dimensions. And it has little tiny needles, steel needles in there. And we're just going to go ahead and clean up this pipe. So this is what we bought to put on there. This was AquaLock by Watts. Basically a push fitting. All you got to do is push it on there, and it locks it on there, and it forms a tight seal. We've used these over the years, and they've actually worked really well. We even have them behind shower walls. First, we're going to take this that nut off, and there's a brass ring. That's how a compression fitting works, is when you tighten this nut down and the pipe is going through there, it clamps that brass ring onto the pipe and forms a watertight seal. And then we're just going to push fit this on here. And these are so nice. Now you got to make sure that they're all the way seated. And so there's this like horseshoe clip, and we're going to fit it in this gap right here. And that keeps this from accidentally getting pushed up to release it. It's kind of a locking mechanism. So that's all good now. So I can pull up on that. Nothing's going to happen. And that should be good. So long as the pipe doesn't have any scratches or gouges in it that's going to let water leak out, we should be okay. So okay, I turned the water on, and you can see there's a little water leaking out the top of this. And that's where I tried to reuse that old brass ring on the pipe. So I think I'm going to have to cut that off. I might have enough room, because there's a pretty big bend in that pipe, to get the length I need to put a new ring on there. So that's what we'll try to do first. If not, I've got another push connect. What I could do is put it in the middle to get myself some extra room there. Cut the pipe, and that would help extend it down. That push connect right there. But I'd rather not have to deal with that, so we'll just cut the pipe right there, take that off, cut that brass ring off, and put the new one on and see what happens. You have two possible tools to use. Both of these will cut pipes. This one's a little bigger. This one's real small for confined spaces. Basically, it works like this. Screw down on the pipe once you can't go any further. Just do like this around the pipe, and then gradually tightening it each time, another half turn, and keep going around and around till the pipe finally goes through the pipe. And so we're going to use the small one, because the big one, I might run into some issues in this, and you do need to cut it. You can use one of these pipe cutters. They're fairly inexpensive. Cut that guy off. Okay, now kind of straighten that pipe out, and I got the length I need to sit in that inside that valve. Oh, put the nut on first, and then the brass fitting, and now this has to go in the valve. All right, well, the water's on. Let's see if this works. All right, well, that looks good. So it's always about trying to figure out which is the best option to take, but that looks like that's working and no leaks. Hope this video helps. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next video.